Just for the purpose of the video, can you tell me who you are?
I'm Christian Westra. I'm 26. I'm from Michigan. I don't know what else special to say there, but...
And what is Clutch Society?
Clutch Society is a collective of people. It's an amazing team. And the thing that like kind of separates us about like other teams to us is we're not just like super great in one area. We're very diverse. Lots of us come from similar but different walks of life. And I don't know, we just try to push what each other's like good at. Like I personally take on lots of roles because I can handle it, but I also try to do what I enjoy, like the photography aspect of it. I have like one of my buddies from childhood who's like our chief of staff, and he just kind of enjoys doing that type of thing. He loves kind of like being the dude in charge and ensuring like things go smoothly and all that. He's basically like my right hand man, so it works out. But we focus on what everybody's like enjoys. And as well as like, I don't know, we make sure that we try to connect with the community like really well in terms of like not just doing events with them, but like being like actively involved with our local communities, working with the local businesses, making sure, that we show that support to a local scene basically.
Right.
And in turn, they kind of show that support back, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, when you think of Clutch Society as a whole, what comes to mind? If you could put one word down. We'll let you think about that one. We'll let you think about it. And how did Clutch Society come to exist? How did it start?
So Clutch Society started in 2017. That's why it's on this right here. So it was started by a guy named Christopher Raymond Guild, super good friend. And originally, like I wasn't even at the first Clutch Society meet. I joined in 2018.
Oh, really?
But he started it with just a simple small car meet in Hastings. The whole thing was like, he wanted to hang out with more car people locally, and he was like, I'm gonna come up with something and just throw a car event. And so he talked to the Dairy Queen in Hastings, which is actually closed now. He just set up a meet there, and I think he said like 20 or so cars came out. And
not a bad turnout though.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Something in a super small town like Hastings, and it just kind of grew, kind of started going towards Grand Rapids and gained like a following in the first year. And then 2018 came along. There was the 2018 M22 cruise, and then we stayed overnight in Traverse City, and that was the season opener event that year. And I went on that, got super tight with the crew. There was probably like 7 or 8 cars in total that did it. And then just, I don't know, Chris and I bonded really well over that trip. And then shortly after that, he got news he was going to be a dad. So,
okay.
Yeah, so life kind of happened.
Yeah.
I approached him about helping out with Clutch Society, I think within the first couple weeks after that season opener. I was like, this is cool. I think something, more could come of it. I didn't even think we'd come to this point, but here we are.
Right. You've come pretty far.
But yeah, just it started as a small meet. I asked to be involved. All of a sudden, he's like finding out he's gonna be a dad. Life happens sometimes, and so he took a step back, and I've basically been running it since 2018. So five years now. It'll be 6 next year, and then like I said, Clutch has been around since 2017. So 6 years this year.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was all just an idea, and that's, I guess, the cool thing about it. It was like, let's see what happens, and it did.
Right, and it did. Do you think that your goals differ from his goals as far as the end of Clutch Society?
That's a good one. I don't think, like, a lot of people can dream big, so I don't think our goals are different, or our dreams were different. I know Chris is taking like a step back kind of from the car scene. I mean, obviously he's doing the dad thing right now, but he's got a couple other like projects he's been working on, so that's pretty cool. But he still comes out and supports, and like every time I talk to him, he seems to be like, really supportive of what's going on, and he's always like, I could never imagine we'd be doing stuff like this under our name, or like, I haven't talked to him yet to see what he thought about like the festival, if he's seen any of it, but yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna be like, I never thought like the name would be like throwing the festival.
Right.
So I don't know, he's always like hyping me up on stuff whenever I post, so I feel like we're definitely headed in the similar direction of, I guess, what he wanted to see or what I want to see. That's a good one.
What was the first thing that you did after you take over Clutch Society?
That was a while ago when I think about it. So for the first like 2 or 3 years, I only had like 2 or 3 people helping me, but we still only did like smaller meets. It was still cool to do nighttime meets in Grand Rapids, so like without any of the drama or like any of the stuff that's happened this year. I'm not gonna be like specific about it, but like just it was different back then. And we could, host night meets, and that was really fun. We did that for a couple of years, and a lot of people enjoyed it. We used to do like highway cruises on the highways around Grand Rapids. We would leave from like Steak and Shake and Sonic, get on 131, go down M6 to 96, back to 131, and then back off to like Steak and Shake and Sonic and chill for a bit. And that was cool. One of the first times we did it, it literally felt like Fast and Furious. It was insane. We did like a Steak and Shake takeover, and it wasn't like a takeover like the drifting or like the donuts in parking lots. It was like more so the group went there collectively, and we had a bunch of people go with us like on the highway route, and it was probably like 80 or 90 cars. So it just looked like a bunch of cars like the scene from Fast and Furious, or Too Fast, Too Furious, where they're all coming out of the garage.
It's a scramble, baby! A big one!
It was like that, getting onto that loop from 131 to M6. So, like, I was at the top of that loop getting onto M6, and I looked down, and there's just
a line
of cars. You can ask Annie. She was in my passenger seat that night because I was still hanging out with like Dylan and them back then. And I just remember her looking back, and she's just like, Christian, look. And I'm like, what? And I was like, holy shit. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. But yeah, you can't do that stuff anymore. That's why we don't do nighttime meets anymore. But yeah, no, that was, I think I just planned like night meets. Just tried to keep it going. So yeah, I just planned a lot of meets. Could do, and what I had like financially to back it with.
What do you hope people think of when they hear Clutch Society?
I hope they think like good things. I know that sounds really like basic, but I hope they think like a positive light in the community. Like I hope there's nothing bad tied to it. Like right now, like takeovers are pretty big in a lot of states, and Michigan this year has been really bad in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, so yeah. I don't want to, have a bad reputation. And right now, cops are actually cracking down on the night meets, specifically a couple of groups. But like, we just do what we can to make sure, we're not in a negative light like that. We, pride ourselves on doing like a community charity event every year. We always do like our trunk or treat as our season finale of the year. So we try to do stuff to give back and like just make sure, that people see us and see we're not bad car people. There are good car people out there.
Right.
That's pretty good.
And what is trunk or treat?
Trunk or treat, so the idea is, it's basically a trunk or treat thing. People fill their trunks with candy, and kids come and do in a parking lot instead of like a neighborhood. Except with this, like people deck out their, modified cars, Halloween themed. Some of them do like the chalkboard spray paint so you can write on it too. Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Last year, one person did that on their hood. That was pretty cool. And then last year we partnered with Turnstiles on it, and then they had live music to follow it up right after. So it was like kid friendly and then something for the adults to do after.
Nice.
Doing it again this year. I think 2 of the 3 bands that we had last year they're coming back and doing it this year. And then I think there's one different band, but I can't remember. That's going to be fun. Like the kids get hyped to see the cars generally, and then all of a sudden there's candy in front of them. So it's like, hell yeah, you got the cars, you got the candy, what more could a kid want?
Right.
But that's always a fun time because it's like, we get a chance to, like anytime we get to do something with the kids, it's like inspiring that next generation, You gotta make sure the whole sport and the whole industry of it stays alive, so you gotta really make sure you inspire that next generation.
Right. Gotta keep it going. What made you want to do the festival? That was a pretty big event for you.
Oh, that's a good one. So I came up with the idea because like cars and music, what could be better? And I really wanted to work with Automodified for a long time, and I just couldn't think of a way to propose it to Tucker. And then I tried hitting him. I knew he had a camping event coming up, and I was kind of worried he'd say, let's try and run it this year.
And who is Tucker and Automodified?
They're a group out of like southern Michigan. They're based out of like Battle Creek area, but they're like us, but down there, I guess, in size comparison. So it just made perfect sense for us to like work with them.
Right.
I just had to think of an event that was like big enough to where it would justify us working together. Yeah, so I hit him with the idea 2 months before. It's probably 2.5 months before his last camping event of the season. I kind of did that on purpose, hoping, you know, that he wouldn't say, let's do it this year. I remember it specifically because I was at Turnstiles. It was one of the Wednesday car nights. And yes, if someone comes up with an idea, man, like everyone else just kind of encourages it. So I came up with the idea and everyone was like, yeah, it's a great idea. And so I sent Tucker a message and he was like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, all right, so I have big plans for the next year. And he was like, nah, I got plans for this year. And so all of a sudden we're hosting our first festival in less than 2 months.
But that was really exciting.
That was exciting, and all of a sudden the next, like, I think one of my messages I sent to Tucker was, like, I was super, super excited about it, but I straight up told him, I was like, I hope you know the next 2 months of our lives are going to be like hell putting this together.
Yeah, how did your team react?
So I hit him with the news, and they all liked the idea, and then I told them we were doing it this year, and everyone kind of worried, but they were like, all right, we got this, and, like, we did. We handled it fine.
That was a pretty nice event. That was really fun.
Dude, I can't believe I'm still taking it in how that turned out.
A lot of fun.
That was 3 days of, I mean, I got there Thursday to set up, but the event was 3 days of tire shredding, 2 days of music. The vendors were there all weekend. RNR Tire Express, the Portage location, did a car show during the whole event. It was a lot going on.
Yeah, you could look at drift cars, look at old cars, get some food, listen to music.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then we had one campfire, which was like the whole grounds like community campfire. So like after everything calmed down at night, we could all like hang around the campfire, and that was pretty cool. But no, I've been wanting to bring, like, I love cars and I love music, so I've been trying to bring them together for the longest time now. And yeah, that was it.
Kind of like a mini grid life thing.
Yeah, and that was year one, so I'm hoping by the time, I mean, Grid Life Midwest in Michigan is, I believe it was its 10th year this year, so if this was our year one, we're probably pushing like 700 people, I think is like the attendance rough count. I mean, if that's our year one, I can't wait to see what the year 10 is looking like, you know. We might have that entire area packed out by then. You know, it's one of those things we'll see. For year one, I couldn't have been happier with the amount of turnout we had. There's just so many people everywhere you looked. It was nuts. Just so much interaction, and that's what I was so hyped about, is like I've wanted to bring like my festival and art scene like friends together with like my car scene people, and it's almost like a set of new eyes on, you know, their stuff, and then they get to see that whole car industry thing and understand why we enjoy it so much. You know, so it's just crossing the two worlds, and it couldn't have been better.
Yeah, the event turned out pretty good. What is your end goal for Clutch Society, for you and your team? Like, do you want to be a race team? You want to just be a car club that the community knows?
All of the above.
All of the above.
So different like portions of a race team. Like I said, we encourage, you know, like the diversity in our group. So if someone wants to do drag racing, like I'm going to encourage that and help them in any way I can. Me personally, I'm building a drift car to go out for next season, you know, so I'm going to push that. But really just getting to a point where it's not a question if we can do it, it's more a question if we want to do it. You know, if someone wants to do some crazy truck build with a supercharger and, you know, make a burnout truck or something, like I want to be able to help that person get to that point, as well as like have our name known that well in the community that we can kind of have that team. As far as like my dream for how big it can go, like I want it to be like a household name. Like I mean, Hoonigan's a household name almost at this point. Like, if you've never seen a Hoonigan sticker in the car world, you're lying.
Right, Hoonigan's pretty recognizable.
Ken Block was a marketing genius, and like that's why that brand succeeded. You know, if I can be 1/10 of that dude, you know, I feel like our brand's done pretty good. We got a pretty awesome team so far though, so we're figuring it out. We want to be kind of like Hoonigan big, but we do things just a little bit different.
Back in the past. Of a better world. Really fast. Spice, vibing, feeling lighter. Spice, vibing, feeling lighter.
I knew it was coming, goddamn it. I knew it was coming.
I told you.